Taco Bell was founded in 1962 by a gentleman by the name of Glenn Bell in Downey, California. And he had this vision of bringing tacos to America. In fact, he even had on the early menu boards how to pronounce a taco. People called them tacos, everything else. But he thought it was the ultimate portable form, and it was really his blood, sweat, and tears of an entrepreneur that really started it up. And it was really founded on the innovative principles that we even celebrate today.
The new Doritos Locos Tacos. Sometimes you gotta live más.
So we were always a different alternative to the burger joints, and even that extended to the tagline we had before Live Más, which was think outside the bun, right? That we were something different, and we wanted to be different. We wanted to be a little bit edgier. We wanted to have be a little bit of an explorer. We wanted to bring innovation. So we do think that we can be a lifestyle brand at Taco Bell. Taco Bell plays in the QSR space, so that's a big acronym we use, amongst other things here, to stand for quick serve restaurants. So in that QSR, that quick serve restaurant space, Taco Bell is in the top 5 of restaurants domestically. We're one of the first QSRs you visit when you get your driver's license. This is the place you go that doesn't necessarily involve your parents and kids' meals and all those things. That's what Taco Bell is really about.
Live Más is all about living life to the fullest, and it really is a differentiating proposition in the QSR category. Taco Bell is in that challenger position where we're not burgers, we are something different. And that's what Living Más is all about. It's about living life to the fullest and taking the path less traveled.
Crew got that old attitude, but it's okay, baby, you deserve it.
And very easy to understand from a consumer perspective what the brand is trying to achieve. And if you think about all the innovation, including Doritos Locos Tacos, it really fits in nicely into that brand positioning.
Sometimes the best dinner is after the dinner.
10 years ago, we talked about our brand architecture as the Jester, and that was important. That was great for then. But the millennial consumer, more sophisticated. They demand something a little bit different. As our CEO, Greg Creed, said it the best, I think. No one follows the Jester, but people will follow an explorer. And with our history of innovation and the brand of first that we have, being an explorer really came naturally to us.
As the millennial generation sort of came into their own, they're a huge generation, we realized that we weren't in sync with them. And I think, one of the biggest things we realized was with a tagline like think outside the bun, we weren't really speaking to them at all because they were already doing that. Everything about millennials was about thinking outside the bun. So for us as a brand to use that as our tagline, it really wasn't saying very much. So we knew we had an opportunity on our hands to reposition ourselves. And so we took a step back and looked at who we were as a brand and realized that, we are an explorer brand. We are a great fit with that generation. So as we were exploring the repositioning of Taco Bell, I think everyone around the building was sort of feeling like we wanted this energy to be present. And there were some taglines that came into the building that people got really excited about. And I think it's really important as a client and as a creative person to make sure you don't get caught up in a really great sizzle piece, because that you will buy just about anything with a great piece of music and some visuals. So the first thing that sort of crossed our doorstep was this idea of keep life spicy, which was true, but it was true to the generation, the millennial generation. It was like kind of exciting, but it didn't really say anything about us as a brand. And then our agency brought us this idea of Hunger for Más that was all about getting out there and trying things and being the first and doing things that were never done before. And we knew the line wasn't right. Hunger for Más wasn't right. It just felt too heavy and weighty. But the idea behind it was right. And we knew this is going to be the place that we should push. And eventually fell onto what we love, which is Live Más.
People everywhere are raving about the new Doritos Locos Tacos.
When we find our best creative ideas, they feel very authentic. When you are developing creative, the best thing you can do is identify kind of your boundaries for your brand and what your brand tenets are. It should be something that people can relate to, or it's within the realm of possibility in someone's life. And I think that starts to create a connection and a relationship with your consumer. And then the other thing is, people can tell when you're trying too hard. People can tell when you're, writing to their funny bone. The more genuine that you can be in your advertising and the more relatable you can be, the better off and the stronger that your piece of communication will be.
Good night, Mr. Goldblatt.
Good night.
What was really important to us as we launched Live Más was that we made sure that it was all about a mindset and not necessarily an age range or a demographic. And our Super Bowl spot demonstrated just that. At any age you can live Más, not just 20-something. And I think that was what we were trying to say about Taco Bell. You may try things you've never tried before, you may do things you've never done before, and we support that.
Así que vamos a poner el mundo en juego. Debes ser más brillante que eso. Llévame across the land and noche. Llévame across the land and noche.
For Taco Bell, the importance of digital media is immeasurable. I think with our target, the way they engage, they're digital natives, they've grown up with their phones, they sleep with their phone next to their bed, and it's the first thing they do in the morning is check it. If we want to be a part of their lives, be an authentic part of their lives, we have to connect through digital, and for us that's really a lot about social media where we can have a two-way conversation. With our role in digital, we're really looking at paid, owned, and earned media. And when it comes to paid, we work very closely with our media partners to make sure that we have the right message at the right place at the right time. All of the conversations we're creating in social media through Facebook, Twitter, Vine, Snapchat, Instagram, the list keeps growing, as well as our own channels for TacoBell.com, across the web and mobile. Our consumer insights team recognized that the world was changing and we were sitting on a gold mine. We had 15 million conversations happening about Taco Bell on an annual basis, and we could go in and listen to understand what people thought about the brand. And then the next big area we're working on is earned. And so we're creating these great relationships with people who love our brand, who also have their own followings, and really starting to get the Taco Bell message out there through their channels.
I think the idea of Facebook is it's a community with your friends. So if you think about a brand, it's really tough to really make that transition to become like a friend to a fan, but that's been our strategy from day one in social media. So it's become a great avenue for two-way communication as opposed to Twitter. Twitter is a channel where you're able to have a direct connection with someone you otherwise wouldn't have that connection to. So people who engage with us in Twitter, they almost see the brand as this celebrity personality and almost feel that they're able to converse with their favorite celebrity. I think TV will always be an important part of their lives, but as they start to communicate and do things through the second screen, it creates that two-way communication, because with TV, we're basically pushing out a single message. But now we're able to push out a message, have feedback, and then engage and have that banter back and forth, which is what creates that relationship. YouTube as a whole is an area of growth. With YouTube, another stat we saw was that 92% of teens visit YouTube weekly, and knowing that that's going to be our audience, and that's going to be the generation that ends up making the decision to go to Taco Bell over other fast food restaurants, we really want to reach out to them and connect with them on that platform.
It's such an exciting time to work in marketing. If you went back in time and you told people they were going to have an opportunity to listen to what their consumers really thought about their brand on a daily basis and have access to millions of conversations, and you're going to be able to create an actual two-way conversation with your consumers outside of a focus group setting and do it at scale, people would have been so excited. But when social media came along, no one really knew what to do with it. It was new and everybody was a little bit afraid, and so we kind of started treating it like a one-way channel instead of a real two-way channel. And now that I think we understand the power of the communities and the power of social media to really unleash our advocates and have them talk about the brand on our behalf, we're excited about the future, and there couldn't be a more fun time to be working in marketing.
We were noticing a big shift with our consumers from food as fuel to food as experience. And really, they wanted more bold flavors, more bold crunch, more bold taste. And so we're really appealing to this taste adventure. And we thought of Doritos because they're really known for bold flavor and crunch. We issued this brief to them and we had an all-day ideation, and that's where the idea was born. And when we saw it, we knew it. We said, who had ever done this before? Turn a Doritos chip in a taco shell. Really simple idea, but completely obvious and very relevant.
It's taken Taco Bell years to perfect, and you seconds to devour.
We knew it when we saw it right from the ideation. So we basically got our leadership all the way down from the president of the company all the way down to the project team level, in addition to the Frito-Lay leadership, all really rallying behind this project and making it a reality. So it wasn't easy since it didn't exist. We basically put some prototypes together and we went and talked to consumers in focus groups, and they basically said, hey, Taco Bell, love the idea, but go back to the drawing board. We didn't have the prototype right. Consumers had so much passion for Doritos, they wanted the taco to be an exact match, down to the corn masa, down to the tooth-rattling crunch, down to the flavor, the whole complete Doritos experience, including getting the nacho cheese on your fingertips. And so we didn't let those focus groups get us down. We went probably round after round, more than 40 different prototypes until we got the right product. And we tested that with Doritos consumers as well as Taco Bell consumers. So there's a lot of consumer work. And then when we figured out, okay, we have a winning product, we put it into market tests. That's in a couple different cities nationwide, and it was an incredible success. In my 15-year marketing career, I'd never seen a product like this get so much word of mouth. So an incredible journey where we had to figure out how the heck were we going to develop this prototype. And then once we had successful market test results, how were we going to scale up to meet national demand? Selling millions and millions of tacos every week. It was very important for us to have the consumer as part of the conversation. So the whole marketing campaign was really about heightening and highlighting consumers' enthusiasm for the product. For the first time on our packaging, we featured Facebook posts and tweets all about the product. We really evangelized consumers' passion for it. With Doritos Locos Tacos, it was definitely a fully integrated campaign, so every touch point was considered, from the posters in the restaurants, down to the packaging, down to all of the different media channels. And specifically for packaging, this was a completely different experience. So it actually, consumers liked to get it on their fingers, but it was a little messy for the car. And in addition, our team members in our restaurants, they have to build a lot of tacos quickly. And so they can't get the seasoning on their hand. And so we actually created a piece of packaging that actually, we call it a taco holster or a taco sleeve, that actually fits the taco, where they can actually build the ingredients and then consumers can experience it in their car without the mess. So that is a great branding tool, and it's also functional in the fact that it helps the crew members as well as consumers. We really plussed out the packaging, again, having consumer quotes and Facebook posts and everything that they were saying about the product all over our packaging, and that really helped drive word of mouth as well.
When the launch of Doritos Locos Tacos was coming, we knew this was going to be a pop culture sensation. We actually did a lot of listening through our social media tool NetBase ahead of time, and we recognized in test market that the sentiment for this product was through the roof. However, the negative sentiment was coming from people saying that they couldn't get it because it was only in test market. So we had an insight there that we wanted to leverage, which was, how can we get people excited about this product and talking about it so they're so excited they get to try it before everyone else? So we actually looked at it more like a movie launched. And one of the key ways we did this was through the hometown tweet off. And essentially it was a promotion where anyone could tweet saying why they couldn't wait to get their hands on Doritos Locos Tacos and why it should come to their town before anyone else.
Soon, Taco Bell will be giving the world a Taco Supreme in a shell made of real nacho cheese Doritos. But with one tweet, you could be the hero to bring it to your town first.
And the person that got the most retweets would actually get a visit from the Taco Bell truck to their house loaded with the nacho Doritos Locos Tacos. So after we started to build all this anticipation with the hometown tweet off, we had the midnight drive-through premiere. The night before everyone could go get it, our fans knew they could get it first. And what's cool about that is they're able to get the first picture, to tell their friends that they've tried it before they did. It gives them a lot of social cachet, and so we saw this great excitement. Our impressions were going through the roof. And then once it actually launched, we had these amazing conversations, and we had people monitoring around the clock to see what our consumers were saying about the product. Not only did we have all of our packaging surrounded with some of these great tweets, where you could actually use our augmented reality app to see the cup and see all the conversations pop up around the cup real time. And if you shared your own tweet in that experience, you could actually see it in Times Square. So we had a live stream of a billboard in Times Square and also in Sunset Boulevard where you could see a picture of your tweet, you could save that and share it back out with your community. The first television spot that was used to launch Nacho Cheese Doritos Locos Tacos was a story that was also sourced through social media. So Nat Cristiano actually drove across the country to get the product in test market. He was one of those people that was so excited about it that he couldn't wait until it went national, and he documented that experience, and so that inspired our team to create an ad around it.
Now in Taco Bells everywhere. Sometimes you gotta live más.
So when we launched Doritos Locos Tacos, we knew we had a huge product on our hands, but we had to have a big communications plan. And so we really looked across all of our channels to see how can we leverage this new product. And for the first time, we had a fully integrated plan that engaged all of our constituents. Before we launched Doritos Locos Tacos, we engaged with 150,000 team members, and we sent them a kit that explained the history of Taco Bell, and we told them, hey, Doritos Locos Tacos is coming. We sent them shirts, stickers, and background about how this product came to life, and that drove engagement levels to record highs.
I think a lot of our creative ideas come from mining cultural insights. It's about walking outside and looking around at what's happening to you and outside of your city and outside of your town and what's happening in the world culturally. We heard about a story in Bethel, Alaska, where it was a very small town, a remote fishing village in Alaska, and they had heard a Taco Bell was coming. It was this elaborate hoax that had been played on the town from one guy to another. Taco Bell was coming to town. Everyone got super excited about it, and then they found out it was a joke. We heard about this on social media, and we said, what can we do to right this wrong? And within 2 days, we had a script, which basically was an idea. Well, let's take tacos where they've never been before. Let's bring Taco Bell to Bethel, Alaska.
Alaska was a really interesting opportunity that originated in social media, but if you are familiar with the Bethel area, it's basically like an island, and during the winter when the river's frozen over, people can drive back and forth, but during the summer, which is when we went, there's actually no real access. You have to kind of come in through a barge or through an airplane. So somebody had the idea to actually take a helicopter and airlift the taco truck and drop it into Bethel and serve the town of 6,000 tacos.
We orchestrated a airlift of a taco truck into the center of the town of Bethel, Alaska, and filmed that whole thing. The joy on these people's faces, like this genuine joy of seeing this taco truck flying over their heads and landing in the middle of their town, was so emotional.
Yes, today was a very good day in Bethel.
And you know, that's not something you can recreate or have actors recreate. We had a rough cut within 48 hours. And we were on air 3 days after that.
Though traditional media was only picking up in about 5 states, once the story broke, it became national news. So it was covered by various news outlets, different media, and also it created a lot of conversations in social. So we were able to measure the impressions, we were able to measure number of stories through traditional media, and ultimately understand that this was something that fans loved hearing about.
So after we launched Nacho Cheese, the very first thing people started saying was, when are you going to bring Cool Ranch? People who love Nacho Cheese grew up in the 70s, but people who love Cool Ranch grew up in the 90s. They were digital natives, and so no wonder they were the ones saying, hey, Nacho's great and we're excited about it, but now I gotta get my hands on the Cool Ranch one. And a few months before launch, we came out on January 2nd with an amazing post, and it said anything could happen in 2013. And it was our most liked, most engaged with post that we'd ever done. And so from there, we went into this really great 3-month period of really starting to just build anticipation for the product. So different from Nacho, instead of doing one big promotion, we wanted to get people excited about it every single day. So we actually set up like a newsroom in our fishbowl. And our fishbowl is really our listening center, where we have the right tools to understand what people are saying about brand. And we set up with a cross-functional team to listen to conversations happening about Cool Ranch.
Hey, they should make a Cool Ranch one of these. Hey guys, they should do a Cool Ranch one. I just said that.
So when is the Cool Ranch version coming out, homie?
Not soon enough. I agree.
You agree?
I agree.
They should make a Cool Ranch one. I'm tweeting that.
Why they don't make a Cool Ranch one? Cool Ranch, Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch.
They should make a Cool Ranch one.
Well, they better hurry up before I'm dead.
We know. We did. Introducing the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Taco.
Doritos Locos Tacos is a record-breaking success for Taco Bell. We've sold over 550 million to date. Another reason why I think Doritos Locos Tacos was incredibly successful is the power of the co-brand. I think you have the Doritos brand that's established, consumers know what it is, they know what it tastes like, in combination with Taco Bell. It's basically the best of the two brands in one. The other thing is that we share the same consumer target. We both are targeting millennials, and so our marketing tends to feel the same. And that's very important as two companies come together to integrate and actually co-brand and market a product.
I burst into tears, yo. Braves Brave 2009.
But Taco Bell, public relations is an integral part of the marketing function. And we work cross-functionally, virtually with all of the different marketing elements. So whether it's advertising, social media, and sponsorships, we work with everyone to ensure that our message is getting amplified wherever we can. We see now that social media and PR are working hand in hand, and so there's this kind of gray area where we see news stories driving social conversations and vice versa. So it's really important for us to be very integrated with that team, and we work very closely together. There are three kind of content pillars that we kind of focus on: sports, music, and pop culture. So we work with Major League Baseball, we work with National Basketball Association, college football. Taco Bell is the quick service restaurant for Major League Baseball. We've had a relationship with them for quite some time. And one of the things that we really love to do with this partnership is activate what we call Steal a Base, Steal a Taco. It is a promotion during the World Series, and the offer is if any player from any team steals a base during the World Series, then all of America gets a free taco.
Angel Pagan had the guts to steal a base so everyone in America could get a free Doritos Locos Taco.
Last year, we gave away the first ever Doritos Locos Taco, and people went crazy over it. The second one is music. Our consumers love music, and we have a great program we've been working on for a number of years called Feed the Beat. And it's really about enabling up-and-coming bands the ability to break big. We fed bands that were on the road touring, that were having difficulty putting gas in their vans, and we said, hey, come to Taco Bell at late night. We love music, we love you. Come and enjoy. Well, we've fed over 500 bands over the past 5 years. We're now getting into the next level, and Feed the Beat bands are actually breaking really big. Their music is now featured in our ads, and we're able to work with them at events and sponsorships to really show how we support music and up-and-coming bands as they break big. And the third and final pillar is pop culture, and that's really where our team in the social space helps us out, trying to find out what's going on, where are consumers resonating today, what's going on in their heads, what technology are they using, and really kind of leveraging that from a brand standpoint. And I think that all three of those content pillars really drive high levels of engagement with our consumers. We have a brand that's got a lot of momentum behind it, but we're constantly reinventing ourselves.
We're very, very focused on where we want to get strategically and what we want to accomplish financially, but all of us are invested in having a great time getting there, and I think our consumers feel that as well.
We still want to make sure that we're on the cusp and on the leading edge in social media. And the only way to do that is to know what the next big platform is and how consumers are using it.
It certainly makes your life a lot easier as a chief marketing officer when you have a product like Doritos Locos Tacos, because I think the genius of some of the biggest innovations are innovations that people just go, of course that's a good idea. You don't have to explain it. I don't have to have a lot of positioning. It just is.
I think the key thing is never taking no as the answer, and to continue to have the passion, especially if you really believe in the idea, to make it a reality.
We treat every single day as an opportunity to create something new, to innovate, to engage with our fans, to make their day, to really delight them and create this conversation that's not necessarily just about a product. It's about an ongoing relationship.
As we like to say, innovation has no finish line.